Most men touch women like they are asking for permission. Watch the next couple you see greeting each other. Watch the man. He leans forward, but his hips stay back. His hands patter back rhythmically. 1, 2, 3. A reassuring platonic rhythm. He is terrified of his own desire. He is signaling safety, but he is actually signaling incompetence. He has just placed himself in the category of a brother, a stuffed animal, a non-threat. And biologically, a non-threat is invisible to the female libido. You want to know why she pulls away? Why the hug feels like a formality? Because you are touching her skin, but you aren't talking to her nervous system. There's a biological circuit in the female brain that connects anxiety, trust, and arousal. They are not separate rooms. They are the same hallway. If you know how to press against the walls of that hallway, a simple embrace stops being a greeting. It becomes a claim. I'm going to give you 3 specific zones. These are not the cliches. I'm not going to tell you to rub her neck or touch her inner thigh. No, that's obvious. And obvious is boring. These are the hidden zones where her instinct for survival meets her instinct for reproduction. Master these and you don't just get a hug, you get a shudder. Before we touch the map, we have to fix the operator. The human hand is an antenna. It transmits exactly what you're feeling. If you're nervous, your hands are clammy and twitchy. She feels the static. If you're hungry, desperate for validation, your hands feel heavy, grasping like a drowning man trying to use her as a raft. Repulsion. Instant repulsion. To trigger lust, your touch must convey one specific frequency, controlled capability. You must understand the concept of the heavy hand. Not aggressive, heavy. Think of a weighted blanket. Think of the difference between a leaf skittering across the pavement and a stone settling into the mud. A leaf is erratic. It moves with the wind. It has no will. A stone is absolute. It is affected by gravity, but it holds its ground. When you touch a woman, you must be the stone. You are not rubbing. Rubbing is anxious. Rubbing is trying to generate heat. It's manual labor. We don't do manual labor here. We do architecture. You place your hand. You let the weight of your arms settle. You do not move. You occupy the space. This is the zero-frequency state. You're telling her nervous system, I'm not taking from you. I'm not asking you. I am simply here and I am immovable. Paradoxically, this lack of movement is what creates the movement in her. And when you are still, she begins to vibrate. She waits for the next signal. You have captured her attention because you have disrupted the pattern of every other man who is frantically trying to please her. Now that you are heavy, now that you are still, we can go to the zones. Zone 1, the sacral base, the anchor. Stop aiming for the waist. The waist is a friend zone trap. It's too high. It feels tentative. And stop grabbing the ass. That is overt. It's vulgar before it's earned. It screams, I want sex, which kills the mystery of whether or not you want sex. The first hidden zone is the sacral base. Anatomy lesson. The sacrum is the triangular bone at the base of the spine wedged between the hip bones. It is the literal keystone of the human skeleton. It carries the weight of the upper body. In spiritual traditions, this is the seat of the Kundalini. In evolutionary biology, this is the center of gravity. When you hug her or when you're guiding her through a door or standing behind her at a bar, your hand goes here, flat. Fingers spread slightly, but fingers are not the point. The palm is the point. Place the heel of your hand right where the spine ends and the glutes begin. Here's the technique, the grounding press. You apply pressure inward and slightly downward. You're not pushing her forward, you're grounding her into the floor. Why does this work? Modern women exist in a state of high-frequency anxiety, hypervigilance. They are constantly holding themselves up physically and emotionally. When you apply downward pressure to the sacrum, you're mechanically taking over the job of her spine. You're saying physically, I have you. You can relax your structure. It is a dominant signal, but it is a benevolent one. If you watch a lioness with a lion, she leans her weight against him. She tests his stability. If he moves, he is weak. If he holds, he is a mate. When you hold the sacrum, do not rub, do not caress. Just hold. Apply that heavy pressure. You will feel a shift. It usually takes about 4 seconds. She will exhale. Her shoulders will drop. And then subtly, she will lean back into your hand. She is surrendering her center of gravity to you. This is the psychological trigger of the release of burden. Lust cannot exist where there is stress. By killing the stress in her spine, you open the door to the desire in her hips. You have become her stability. And biology dictates that the female clings to the source of stability. Zone 2, the occipital ridge, the predator's gate. Now we move up to the most dangerous and delicate part of the machine, the back of the neck. But not the skin of the neck. Any amateur knows to kiss the neck. We're talking about the occipital ridge, the bony ledge at the base of the skull where the neck muscles attach. This zone is primal. In the animal kingdom, the neck is the site of 2 things. The kill predators bite here to sever the spine. The claim, mothers carry young here. Males hold females here during mating. It is a zone of high vulnerability. When you touch a woman here, you're triggering a fight, flight, or mate response. You are waking up the lizard brain. Most men are too afraid to touch here because it feels aggressive, so they touch the cheek. The cheek is sweet. The cheek is safe. The hand on the back of the neck is possessive. The technique. The hairline grip. This is not a chokehold. We are not being violent. We are being firm. When you are close, perhaps the hug is ending or you're leaning in to speak, slide your hand up her spine, past the safe zone, and cup the back of her skull. Your thumb is on one side of the vertebrae, your fingers on the other. Your fingertips should press into the hollows just under the skull bone. Do not pull her hair. Grip the bone. Why is this addictive? Because you are controlling her vision. Where the head goes, the eyes go. By holding the head, you're implicitly saying, look at nothing else. Focus only on me. It creates a sensation of being caught. There's a dark psychological principle called the arousal of captivity. We are not talking about kidnapping. We are talking about the momentary relief of losing control. For a few seconds, she doesn't have to decide what to do. Your hand on her neck decides for her. Combine this with eye contact. If you hold the back of her neck and look at her mouth, you create a circuit of anticipation. The pressure on the occipital nerves releases tension in the jaw. Try it on yourself. Massage the base of your skull. Your jaw relaxes. A relaxed jaw is a physiological precursor to submission and oral receptivity. You're physically preparing her body for intimacy without saying a word. Use this sparingly. If you do it constantly, it loses power. It becomes abuse. Do it once at the peak of the interaction. Hold, squeeze gently, then let go. The absence of your hand will feel colder than the presence of it. She will miss the weight. That missing is the seed of obsession. Let's pause. You might be thinking, can I just do this on a first date? Is this too much? If you have to ask, you aren't listening. These aren't buttons you press to get a prize. This isn't a cheat code. This is a language. If you shout these words at a stranger, yes, you will be rejected. But if you whisper them in the right context, you change the reality. The context is confidence. If you hesitate while reaching for her neck, you look like a creep. If you reach with absolute certainty, you look like a man who knows what he is doing. Hesitation is the enemy. Hesitation is the creep factor. Speed kills. Slowness seduces. But hesitation on that stutter between thought and action, that is what makes women dry. Eliminate the lag time between your desire and your action. If you want to touch her, touch her. If not, don't. But never almost touch her. Zone 3, the coastal margin. The breath gate. We have the anchor sacrum. We have the command neck. Now we need the engine. The coastal margin is the edge of the rib cage, specifically the floating ribs on the side of the body just above the soft tissue of the waist. Why here? Because this is where the diaphragm attaches. This is the mechanism of breath. When people hug, they usually wrap arms around the shoulders, upper back, or the waist. Soft tissue. The ribs are structural, but they expand and contract. The technique. The restriction sink. When you embrace her, place your hands flat on her side ribs, not the waist, higher on the bone cage itself. Spread your fingers so you cover maximum surface area. Now pay attention to her breathing. You will feel the cage expand against your palms. Here is the trick that 99% of men will never know. Slightly restrict the expansion. I don't mean crush her. I mean apply just enough resistance that she has to work slightly harder to take a full breath against your hands. Then, when she exhales, tighten your grip to follow the contraction inward. You are hacking her autonomic nervous system. By restricting the breath very slightly, you induce a micro spike of adrenaline. The body thinks, I am being constricted, but the mind knows I am safe with him. This contradiction, danger signals from the body, safety signals from the mind, creates cognitive dissonance. And how does the brain resolve this dissonance in a romantic context? It labels it as passion. I can't breathe when I'm with him. That is a literal statement turned into a romantic metaphor. Make it literal. Hold her ribs. Be the corset. Control the rhythm of the hug. If she tries to pull away, hold for a fraction of a second longer. Just a fraction. Let her feel that she is released only because you allowed it, not because she escaped. This establishes a subtle power dynamic. You are the gatekeeper of her oxygen, and therefore her comfort. Now, do not try to do all three at once. You are not an octopus. You layer them. The scenario. You meet her. You step in. No hesitation. Step 1. Your right hand goes low. Sacrum grounding press. You anchor her. She stops moving. Step 2. Your left arm wraps high, but instead of patting her back, your hand finds the nape of her neck. Perline grip. You tilt her head slightly. Step 3. You pull her into you, your chest against her chest. You squeeze the breath out of her gently. Rip compression. You hold. No patting, no rubbing. Just static, heavy, high-voltage pressure. You breathe slowly. She will naturally match your breathing. This is called entrainment. If you breathe slow and deep, she calms down. If you breathe heavy and shallow, she gets aroused. You control the thermostat. Then you break the contact abruptly. Push her away gently but firmly. Look her in the eyes. Smile a little like you know a secret. You gave her a hit of the drug. Now you take it away. The Zeigarnik effect, the incomplete loop. Her body was just getting used to the stability, the dominance, the pressure. And now she's standing cold under her own weight again. She will immediately want to return to the warmth. In a world where men are increasingly passive, soft, and afraid of their own shadows, the man who touches with intent is a king. The man who is not afraid of the female nervous system is a sorcerer. Why does this actually work? Let's strip away the romance. Let's look at the biology. We live in a sanitized world. We have removed danger. We have removed the wild. But the female brain evolved over millions of years in a world that was wild. It evolved to select for mates who could handle reality, mates who were solid, mates who could kill and protect. When you use the friendly hug, the A-frame, the backpack, you're signaling that you are a product of the modern, sanitized, safe world. You are domesticated. Domesticated animals are pets. They are not lovers. When you use the grounding press or the hairline grip, you are signaling an ancient capability. You're tapping into a dormant gene. You're bypassing her prefrontal cortex, logic, social rules, politeness, and speaking directly to the amygdala and the limbic system. You are reminding her that you are a dangerous man who has chosen to be gentle, and that is the core of female desire. Not safety alone, but danger controlled. I am the monster, and you are the only one I will not hurt. That is the story your hands tell. I want you to try this. Not next month, today. You don't need a date. Try the sacral press on a female friend platonically, just to feel the difference in how she stands. Notice the shift in weight. Notice how people respond to heavy hands versus anxious hands. Stop fluttering. Stop fidgeting. Be heavy. Be the stone in the river. Next time you hug a woman you're interested in, commit. Do not lean halfway. Anchor. Hand on the sacrum. Dominate. Hand on the nape. Breathe. Sink the ribs. Release. Step back and watch her eyes dilate. She won't know why she suddenly feels different around you. She'll tell her friends, I don't know, there's just something about him. He has this energy. It's not energy. It's geometry. It's anatomy. It's psychology. It is the forbidden knowledge of the nervous system. You now have the map. But a map is useless if you are afraid of the territory. The biggest barrier to using these touch zones isn't technique. It's your own internal permission. You are afraid to take up space. You are afraid to be dominant because you have been told it is toxic. Real dominance is not toxic. Real dominance is protective. It is structural. It is the frame that allows the artwork to exist. If you cannot hold yourself, you cannot hold her. If you cannot touch her with authority, she will never look at you with surrender. Touch is the only language that cannot be lied in. You can lie with words. You can fake a smile, but you cannot fake the vibration of your skin. If you are fearful, she feels it. If you're hungry, she feels it. If you are king, she feels it. So before you touch her, fix your mind. You're not asking, you're giving. You're giving her a moment of silence in a loud world. You're giving her a container for her chaos. Master the zones, but more importantly, master the intent behind them. If this conversation woke something up in you, if you felt the truth of this in your own spine, then you belong here. We do not do dating advice. We do psychological surgery. We strip away the lies you were told about attraction and look at the raw machinery underneath. Subscribe, turn on the bell, step into the dark. I'll see you in the next session.